waste any.
All right. Hello and welcome to Cheers. That's One Woman's Opinion. I'm your host, Carolyn Mills. Today we're looking at We're looking at Cheers Season 2, Episode 4, Homicidal Ham, which first aired October 27th, 1983. This episode was directed by James Burrows. It was written by Glenn Charles, Les Charles, James Burrows, and David Lloyd. Lloyd passed away in 2009 from prostate cancer. Our guest cast includes Paul Vaughn as Paul, Alan Coss as Alan, Severin Darden as Professor DeWitt. Darden passed away in 1995 after a heart attack, and Derek McGrath as Andy Schroeder. Derek is here with us today to help recap the interview, and I'll be asking questions along the way. After I have other questions that our dear listeners asked me to ask as well. Derek appeared on Cheers 4 times. He has also appeared in the movie Mr. Mom, an episode of After MASH, an episode of Growing Pains, 2 episodes of Newhart, 24 episodes of Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, voicing Spike and others, Police Academy 4, an episode of Married with Children, 15 episodes of Dallas, as well as Who's the Boss? She's Out of Control, starred in the series My Secret Identity from 1988 to 1991, and a lot of other roles as well. Derek, thank you for joining us on this recap interview with me today.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
I like your glasses, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love them too. They're fairly new. I get a lot of compliments on these. Yeah.
So some of my listeners at the podcast have actually sent some comments along with questions. So I wanted to share the comments they sent for you.
Wonderful.
One said, "Tell him Andy was hilarious." Another said, "Please tell him he played Andy to perfection." Another said, "He's my favorite Cheers character of all time." And another said, "His final scene made me laugh. Rebecca had no idea what was going on." To which another add, "One of my favorite jokes. Talk about rewarding the longtime viewer."
Wow. That's very nice. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
It's funny because your character has that last name, Schroeder, but everybody refers to your character as Andy because of the first one
Yeah.
that you were on.
I don't think his name was never. Matter of fact, I'd completely forgotten. If you'd asked me today, if I hadn't watched the episode, what was Andy's last name, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. So, yeah.
Everybody knows you as Andy.
Yeah. Huh?
That's because everybody knows you as Andy.
Andy. Yes, that's right. Andy. Yeah.
Cheers was filmed was said in this episode by Shelley Long. In the summary, cold open, Carla has stuffed herself to look pregnant since she found out she gets better tips when she's pregnant. Coach tells Sam that Carla's being dishonest and Sam should make her get rid of it. Sam tells her, "I can't do that, Coach. She's Catholic." As a child, I did not get this. My listeners know I started watching this show when I was 9 in the 1990 season because Kirstie Alley was in Look Who's Talking. I saw that, became obsessed with her, started watching Cheers, developed a crush on Ted Danson, and now it's been my favorite show ever since. So I've been a fan since 9.
When you're talking about Coach, he had one of my favorite lines of all time in television. He was a wonderful man, by the way. He said, there was the line where she says, she can see what was it? She could see a pregnant woman from a mile away. She said, "That'd be very handy at a drive-in."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not a pregnant woman, an actor a mile away.
An actor a mile. That's it. Yeah, I can see an actor a mile. Yes, that's right. I can see an actor a mile away. That's coming very handy at a drive-in. I love that. He was such a sweet man. Anyway, carry on.
I didn't even know what a drive-in was when I was younger.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
we used to go to them a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, and we had a string potato chips, and you could get the. But actually, it was really the movie was just an excuse to get hot dogs and Coca-Cola or Orange Crush. I used to get, and those little. I don't know if you know those. They're little string potato chips. They're like potato chips, but just in strings.
Oh, no,
Really
I've never
good.
heard of that.
Yeah, it's like the crunchy, all the little crunchy things at the end. They were all those, like the little tiny potato chips. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, my brother, I'm the youngest of 8 children, and my brothers were talking about it one day, and I was like, "What's a drive-in?" And my oldest brother, he's 20 years older than me, and he goes, "Oh, it's a place where you go so you can make out." I was like, "What?"
Yeah. There's that too. Yeah, yeah.
So a couple walks by Carla, crashes into her. Carla fixes the stuffing and tells the onlooker The kid's going to be a swimmer, where everybody knows your name plays. Oh, one person asked about your audition process for Andy.
Oh, wow. Um, I remember there's a story about that. It was Christmas around the time that I auditioned for it. And I said, I'm going home. I'm going to Canada for Christmas. Christmas is very special to me. I said to my manager, no calls, no nothing. That's it. I'm out, no matter what it is. So I'm at Christmas up in Canada, up in Alberta, at my girlfriend's family's house, and I get a call, and they say it's for Derek. It's his manager, and I'm like, what? I said no. So he says, I know you said no calls, but I just want to say one word to you. Cheers. I said, I'm listening. Mild-mannered psychopathic killer. Cheers. I said, when is it? I'll be there. So I went there, and there were all these people there to Jake, the bodybuilder type guy, was there, and I helped him with his audition. He was auditioning for Andy, and he said, "Why are you helping me with this?" And I said, "Because this role is mine. None of you have a chance. I know it in my soul. It just said it's mine." And I went in and I auditioned, and yeah, I got it. Yeah, so. It wasn't, I don't remember much about actually walking in and doing, but I think I just walked in and they said, okay, do it. And there was no special thing that happened, like the special thing, about the John Ratzenberger thing. I wonder if you know about that when he auditioned.
Which Jeff Ratzenberger thing? Oh, when he auditioned, you mean? And he didn't get part of Norm?
George went. Yeah. And as he's leaving, you know this story. As he's leaving, your audience might not. He's leaving, and he knew he didn't really nail it. He said, by the way, do you guys have a know-it-all in the bar? And they said, no, what do you mean? And he came in and he started doing the know-it-all. And I went, that's a great character. And he wrote himself into Cheers and changed his entire life in that moment of courage. Because, you guys he changed his life. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Carry on.
Such a classic character.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Sam is, well, it's okay because it's your interview. So you're supposed to do that.
All right.
Sam is upset that someone carved initials into his bar. He looked closer and sees it says SM plus DC and realizes Diane did it. She says it's romantic, but Sam says it's stupid. He suggests they get their buns tattooed. Diane goes to a table. Andy Schroeder goes behind her and yells, boo. Diane screams and runs to Sam. She is upset Andy is in the bar, but Sam says he doesn't look dangerous. And I love that because you actually look at him. You got that, like you said, you're a mild-mannered psychopath.
Yeah, mild-mannered psychopathic killer.
Well, that's perfect because you think about your serial killers. Most of them don't look crazy. They're like your neighbor next door.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Andy is a customer just like everybody else. 1 second, Duke, stop whining, please. My dog's whining because my boyfriend's upstairs. Sam goes over to Andy and asks him what he wants. Andy pulls out a gun and demands everything in the cash register. Cliff says they should help Sam since Andy is not very big, but Norm says the gun is big. Mm-hmm. That whole scene cracks me up too.
Yes.
Sam says he hopes. I'm sorry, what?
Gun is definitely big, he says. Yeah.
Sam says he hopes no one does anything silly. Carla sneaks over to Andy. Andy sets the gun on the bar and looks away. Carla grabs him, and Norm and Cliff yell, now, and then say, it's okay, Carla got him. And I always love how those two guys are always like trying to decide if they're going to do something because there's other episodes they do that, and then Carla takes care of
it. They're not too brave.
Sam heads to his office to call the police. Andy says he wants to go back to prison because he can't make it on the outside. Diane asks him if he's tried, and he says no one trusts an ex-convict, he has no skills. Diane asks him about his dreams, and he says they would laugh if he told them, but Diane assures him no one will laugh, and Andy says he wants to be an actor. Norm and Cliff start laughing. Cliff coughs, and Norm says, God bless you. I always thought that line was kind of weird, like Cliff should have sneezed, because you don't say God bless you for a cough. So when he coughs and then he says God bless you, I'm like, you should have sneezed. That would have made it worse.
That would have been, yes. We'll do the rewrite. We'll reshoot it and do that rewrite. You're right. It should be fixed.
One of my favorite podcasts is Pod Meets World from the Boy Meets World series. And they talk all the time that they need to build a time machine so they can go back and fix everything they've noticed.
Yeah. I don't think
Carla
I
tells
changed.
him Carla tells him to go be an actor, and Andy informs him. Lost my place. What did Andy inform him? Oh, Andy informs him no one will give him a chance.
Right.
Sorry, I was moving the closed captioning on my thing, so it was where you were. So when I look, I can. I'm deaf in this ear and hard of hearing in this one.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Sam comes out and says the cops are on their way. Diane tells him to call them back and tell them not to come. He tells her, got it. But then he's confused, and she tells him, we, mostly I, can save this man's life. He asks her how, and she tells him to call the police and trust her. Diane tells Andy she knows Professor Sebastian DeWitt. He is a big drama coach. They sit at a table, and Diane tells him they will do a scene. If she thinks he's good enough, she'll contact Professor DeWitt. DeWitt has contacts all over theaters in the Cape Cod. What was he like, Professor DeWitt? The guy who played him, I forgot his name.
Severn Darden was a
Thank you.
genius. He was a genius. I knew him before because I used to improvise with him. And he was the only one. Most of us they would always say, "Get out of your head. Just respond like jazz. Don't be thinking." The only one that was allowed to think because he thought so fast and so brilliantly. He'd do this thing. They'd say, "We have a professor here, and he can answer a question on anything." So they say geophysics or something, and he would just riff, and he was so smart, a wonderful man. Yes, yes. He would call me up and say, "Hello, Derek. It's Seven," and he had that way of yeah. And I remember when he was dying, his lady was very upset, and he said, "Why are you so upset?" And she said, "Because you're dying." And he said, "Oh, that's nothing." He was like totally okay with it. Don't be so upset. Anyway, he was an amazing man and a genius improviser.
He's
Genius.
in one of my favorite movies, Back to School.
Back to school.
That was one of my favorite movies, and he's in that.
Yeah. His great talent, though, was improvising. Anyway, carry on.
Andy asks Diane why she is helping him. Diane says that she knows what it's like to be in the acting world and tells him she herself has done some acting. Andy asks her to be in the scene with him. She tells Sam she's taking an hour off of work, which I recently had mentioned in the previous podcast that people just come and go at Cheers whenever they want. Sam
Yeah.
has no control over his employees. They just come, go,
No,
work when they want.
I had that thought too when I was, they just go. Yes.
Sam has to speak to Diane, and Diane asks Sam if Andy looks dangerous. Andy is playing with the door shade. That is one of my favorite minutes of scenes, whatever. You're just
Me too. That was
was
also
that scripted or did you come
James
up with that
Burrows.
yourself?
I did that myself. Yeah. But James Burrows loved that. He went nuts for that. He thought that's so funny. That is so funny. I think makes him look so harmless.
You're like a little child, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. That's why you can actually be a murderer in a comedy and it's funny. If you were really dangerous, it would be ugly and would be
Yeah.
dramatic and not funny. So yeah, that he's so nice. I always saw him as a person who was obsessively polite. And if you weren't polite, and he believed everybody else should be obsessively polite, and if they weren't, they should be killed. That's how I saw Andy.
Sarah reminds her that Andy did time. She says he made a mistake and isn't a murderer at heart. Sam tells her, I just don't think someone should go out with a crazy person. But Diane tells him that she can take care of herself. Sam replies, I was talking about me. Diane is ready to leave. Andy tells Sam that his crime was a long time ago, and he hasn't heard those voices in a long time. Then explains to Sam he heard a shrill voice that sounds like his mother. Diane calls him again, and Andy gasps. Then he realizes it was Diane. The gang are watching boxing. The round ends. Sam already has mugs of beer, and the gang go round to get them before round 7. Diane comes out in her Desdemona costume and turns off the TV, saying that it's too loud. Norm tells Sam, I hope she's telling you one hell of a good time. Sam chuckles. That's a good scene, too, where they're just going around. It's like,
I love when she comes out, she goes, off, off, off. She just turns it off. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. one of
At
the
the
great
end of each
characters.
of my summaries, when I do like the discussion part, I always have MVP, and Shelley Long has gotten more MVPs than any other person in the show. I mean, like, I don't like because, like I said, I started watching because of Rebecca, and she's my favorite one on the show. But I never like Shelley Long is brilliant.
Yes, brilliant. Yes, brilliant, brilliant.
Back in the pool room, Andy tells Diane that he has had the best week of his life. Professor DeWitt comes in and Diane introduces him to Andy. Andy says they are doing a scene from Othello, which is a Shakespeare play. DeWitt says that it is challenging. He then tells Diane he can't picture her as a waitress. She reminds him she played a waitress in his production of Bus Stop. He says he knows, wishes them good luck, and leaves the pool room. And that's always good too, that he can't picture her.
Yeah, and she says, but I played a waitress, but I wasn't. Yes, I know. It was very insulting. Yeah.
I actually did Bus Stop. I think I was stage manager for it, local theater.
Ah,
I
uh-huh.
started doing theater in high school. I love it,
Yeah,
but not on stage. I only like backstage stuff.
right.
Andy thanks Diane again. He tells her, I love you, Diane. Diane says, I love you too. Sam comes in to see if they are almost ready. Andy leaves to get in costume. Sam apologizes to Diane and says that Andy has been a complete angel all week. Diane apologizes for not being around much and says she'll make it up to him when they're alone. They kiss as Andy returns in his costume. He is upset to see Diane is kissing Sam. And upset's kind of mild. He wants to kill her.
Yes, I'm going to have to kill you. Yes,
And it's perfect that you guys are doing Othello too.
yes.
Diane explains that she and Sam are a couple. Andy says that he loves her and she says she loves him. But Diane clarifies she meant she loves him as a friend and asks him if he's angry. Andy says he'll use his performance. He
Yes.
then quotes Othello. Someone wanted to know if you've done any Shakespeare prior to the Othello
Yes,
theme
I
scene.
have. I did Twelfth Night when I was in school, actually, and I actually won an award for a very small. I did Twelfth Night. What else did I do? I did
Who'd you
Romeo
play
and
in 12th Night?
Twelfth Night. I played Feste the clown. Thank God my memory worked there, and I was able to remember that. I also did Romeo and Juliet. That was the first time I ever did Shakespeare, and I just did Balthazar, which is a small role. But I actually there's a Simpsons drama festival here, and they give out awards, and I got a special award for doing that performance. It wasn't an award they usually handed out, but I got a special award for playing Balthazar. Uh,
Awesome.
so, uh, and then when I played Twelfth Night, I played Feste the Clown. Yes, yes. But my performance, well, we'll get to that. So I watched for my performance for inspiration. I'll say it now. I was Olivier in a movie called Cartoon, and he did something with his hands, and I thought I'm going to borrow that, and I kind of molded my performance as though Olivier were playing it, but filtered through the psychosis of Andy. That's how I approached it.
Awesome. Okay. He then quotes Othello, yet she must die before she betray more men. Diane tells him, wonderful, that was perfect. She leaves. Andy looks at his hand, which now looks like a claw, and says, put out the light, then put out the light. Should have had
Yes.
you do that. You could have done it better than me.
Yes, I could have. No, sorry.
Someone asked Andy. Someone asked Andy goes from childlike and harmless to pretty disturbing quickly. Was it scripted like this, or as an actor, did you make this choice to go to the extreme?
I guess it was a combination. I think that's what I thought was expected of me. I mean, we were going to go to the point where I was going to strangle her. So it's basically inferred in the script. Uh, yeah, I think I can't remember exactly what I was thinking at that moment, but I'm sure that the Charles brothers and James Burrows and David Lloyd, who was considered, by the way, was often called the Shakespeare of sitcom. I don't know if you knew that, but
No,
they
I
used to
didn't.
call him Shakespeare of sitcom. Brilliant writer, brilliant. Anyway, I think it was. I just got that impression that that's where they wanted me to go. But I didn't make up the lines. It
Yeah.
was all. Yeah,
with Jake, like I've heard some directors are more let you kind of do it and see how it works, and some are literally do this, do this, do that. What kind of director was James Burrows?
Oh no, I think that we would run it through and try things, and then, well, you know how it works with a sitcom. You run it, and then they, at the end of the day, they come and they give you notes, and so I think they liked where I was going with it, and I don't remember all the notes, but it was how many years ago? Like 35 years ago or something. But anyway, yeah, they were very happy with where I was going with
It
it.
was
So
more than 40 years ago, because 83. So yeah, it was over 40 years ago.
years ago, 83, yes. Wow. Over 40 years ago, 42
I was
years.
3.
I'm not going to say how old I was. I think I was old then. But anyway. Yeah.
Coach comes in to get Andy. Andy screams, and Coach says, "Show folk." And I love that line too.
I love that line.
React, show folk.
Oh God, I love that character. He was so good. Anyway,
So nerdy. Okay. Another person was wondering if you and Shelley Long had ad libbed any of the Shakespeare scene.
no, no ad libs.
Diane introduces the scene. She and Andy.
The writing is so good. You'd be
Yeah.
foolish to ask it, I think. Just brilliant writing. Yeah. I used to tell people that Cheers was easy to do because you just show up. The scripts are so good. Show up, tell the truth, and just know in the back of your head that it's comedy. It's going to be funny because it's so good. The writing is so good. Yeah.
Heard both Burroughs and the Charles brothers say that the hardest thing for them to do was Norm's entrances because the first one was so good. He was like, "How do you keep it up?" And then the show kept going.
Yeah. Hey, Normie. Yeah.
Diane introduces the scene she and Andy are about to do. She explains the scene for others, saying Professor DeWitt would know it. She and Andy say, "Whoops." She says Andy is playing Othello, and she says she'll be playing Desdemona in the strangulation scene. She sees Andy looking at her and becomes nervous. They got to start the scene, but she stops again. Sam tells her she will be fine and tries to kiss her. Diane yells, "Don't touch me, I barely know you."
Yes.
It's a great reaction.
Yeah.
Diane tells them Othello thinks Desdemona has been unfaithful and adds, which of course she hasn't.
He'll be sick about it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
She lies down on the bed. Was the bed like made from the tables or because it's not
I
I'm trying to figure out what
discovered.
it was.
I'm
Yeah,
not even sure myself what it was made. Probably pit tables. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Andy starts the scene. When he says he won't shed her blood or scar her skin, Diane jumps up again. Sam tells her the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be finished. And the studio audience laughs. Like you
Yes.
really heard them laugh on that line.
Yes. You'll be finished. Yes.
As a kid,
Double.
that was one of those lines that totally went over my head. I was like, what are they laughing at? And I laughed the other day. I was like, oh, I get it.
You'll be finished. Yeah. Finished.
Diane lays down again and sits up asking, who's there, Othello? The scene continues and she asks, will you come to bed, my lord? Norm applauds and says, ooh, yeah. Which
Yeah.
that's really good because when Shakespeare wrote his plays, he wrote it so that like the kings and queens would like it and also the lowest people. So it's
Yeah.
like perfect. Diane likes it and Norm's all excited. So,
Yes. Yes. Lowbrow humor for the, yeah, for
yeah.
the orange Stratford. Yes. Carry on. Because he used to throw oranges sometimes.
Fellow asks Desdemona if she prayed. He does not want to kill her if she's not ready. DeWitt says there's a real murderous intensity about him.
Yeah.
That's
Yes. Well,
so well written.
you were asking about how far to go. There's a clue for you. There's a real murderous intensity about him. So, yeah, I was clued to do it that way. Yes. Yeah.
Coach asks Sam if Diane is okay. Sam says she's just acting. Coach asks if Sam should check, but Sam says she would kill him if he interrupted her Shakespeare scene. Andy tries to strangle Diane, who fights back. And some people in different places, the groups that I belong for Cheers, I asked if they have questions, so I got all these. But some people have said that they can't watch this episode because of this choking scene, that they had a problem with it being played for laughs. So I was wondering what your thoughts of that were.
Yeah. I that again. Yeah, I can understand that because you aren't trying to strangle somebody, and I can understand that. I think because of all the lead up to it, that it's a comedy. I I think it's okay. We can't be so politically correct that we can never laugh at anything. Almost anything I think is up for humor. I don't think it was done in poor taste, and I don't actually strangle her, and but I do understand that. When I read it, I thought it's going to be hard to pull off and make this funny, but I think we did. I think the writing is so good and it's so well done that I think that it's okay. It is a little scary, but I wanted to play it. I didn't. I wanted to play it as real as possible, with comedy in the back of my head. Otherwise, there's no threat in it. And I think I don't know, but I do understand the feelings. I can totally understand.
Dewitt says he loves a Desdemona who fights back. Diane yells, "Help, the psycho's trying to kill me." Andy yells, "I saw you kissing Sam. I saw you kissing Sam." Another fan asked, as an actor, is it hard to try to kill someone in a sitcom? When she just actually answered. But
yes, which I just answered. Yeah, it's a little scary to do that. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it, but you commit yourself to it. It's a role. It's not you. I didn't try to strangle Shelley Long, and he was never going to get away with it. So yeah, it can be uncomfortable. I have turned some things down where I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like physically violent with women. I don't like. But if it's in the context of a movie that has a bigger message and maybe is against violence against women, then that's a different story. Then I'd be willing to play that.
Yeah.
It depends on the vehicle, really.
Yeah. Like the purpose for it.
Yeah, what's the purpose of it? What does it accomplish? Yeah.
Sam checks if this is a line from the play, then runs up to help Diane. Cliff and Norm help get Andy off her. Andy yells, "Mommy, I'll clean up my room." That's a good line too. So you should do
One
this.
of my favorite all-time lines. "Mommy, I'll clean up my room, mommy." which takes the edge off that murder scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norm sits on Andy. And I couldn't tell how much George Wendt was sitting on you, so I was wondering how that was because he's not small. I mean, he was a big
Not
guy.
It hurt a lot. But and he had never done it in rehearsal. I mean, what did he weigh then? About 300 pounds or something? Very big. And so when he came, he had never done it, and he sat on me. And my first instinct would be, "Hey, get off!" Because you're killing me. You're crushing my kidneys. But I'm in a scene, and it's going really well. It's a really good take. So as an actor, I think just grin and bear it. So I didn't say cut or anything, but it actually did really hurt. It's a lot of weight right on your stomach. And his instinct was just, he was improvising, if you will. And his instinct was to sit on me. And I understand that. I never held it against him or anything, and God bless him.
Andy's instinct would be to come back and kill Norm. That would be his.
He does come back later, but
he's now on the list.
Yes.
Actually, it's funny because when you talk about how he came back, because you actually come back 2 times, that next one and then the cameo that you make in season 11.
Yes.
But somebody posted something about how people are going when Diane has that dream in the next episode you're in. When she's dreaming, they're like, they all go to the basement and they get killed one by one. I never dawned on me they were getting killed. I was like, I just figured they were down there and just tied to stack. I couldn't figure out.
Well, they just walked up like they do with Sam. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I forget that. But yeah, the Halloween episode. That's the one I'm least familiar with, I think. Yeah. Anyway, blah, blah. Sorry. I got nothing great to say.
Diane tells him, "I hope you fry for this." Sam asks her if she's going to be okay. This is another one that helps with the comedy. She says she's having trouble breathing, and Sam tells her, "No, I met for tonight." Diane shoves him, and he falls off the fake bed.
Yes, yes. I loved her read on that. "I hope you fry for this." Her read on it was so good. She was so good. Anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, you can tell like she's acting like if you just got strangled and they let you go, you're trying to breathe. And
yes, yes, yeah. I thought she was great.
I've seen some, both in movies and sitcoms, where something like that happened, and it's like the actor forgot what just happened, and they read it totally normal or something. And it's like you just got strangled. You're not going to be able to breathe.
You're not going to react to that. Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to react to that. Yeah.
So I do because it's Cheers takes place in a bar. Instead of giving it stars, I give it beer nuts in my ratings.
Okay, great.
So I gave this episode 5 out of 5 beer nuts. This is one of, if not the best episode of season two, and perhaps the whole series. The premise is brilliant. Andy falls in love with Diane. Diane loves Sam, not Andy. What could possibly go wrong with a crazy murderer performing a strangulation scene with a woman who, like an Othello, he believes has betrayed him?
Yes. Yeah. Great. I think it's one of the best episodes too. Yeah. And one of my favorite, all-time favorite gigs was to do that particular show. What a what a gift, to be given that to do. Don't get those a lot. Yeah.
And MVP for this episode just happens to be Derek McGrath. That's who I picked. This is only the second time I've picked a guest star as MVP. The other one
Oh,
being, what's his name? Harry Stone. Harry Anderson was the other
Harry
one. I couldn't think of
Anderson.
his.
Harry Anderson. Harry Anderson, yes. God bless him. He's also gone, yeah.
And I was wondering who you would pick for your MVP of this episode.
Um, I think I'd have to go with Shelley. I mean, she carried the load. Yeah, yeah. I'd have to go with Shelley. I thought she played it brilliantly, brilliantly. Yeah, that's my MVP.
For best dressed, I picked Sam Malone, and then for the Othello scene, I picked Diane Chambers. I do that for all of them too. Usually I only have one, but because you guys are in costume, I really liked her dress.
Yes. Oh, speaking of costume, I'm always been embarrassed when in the rehearsal scenes. I'm wearing this thing and it's got a great big stain on it, like a grease stain or something that I dropped on it over lunch or something, and they left it there. And when did somebody say, "Risha, get him a new shirt, please"? Big stain on it. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, maybe that's good.
I was gonna say if you hadn't mentioned it, nobody would.
Yeah, yeah. I've always been. Oh man, why did they leave that big stain? Anyway.
That's why the other day somebody asked me if they saw a stain on their shirt, and I was like, "Not until you literally pointed to it and said, "Do you see this big?"
Now that you say it, yeah, you can never not see the dog in the painting. Yes. All right.
Then I have the Grand Slam. I try to keep it baseball related. Some of my things. So I have a Grand Slam lineman on baseline. So a Grand Slam line is when Diane says, "Help! The psycho's trying to kill me," and Coach replies, "That's the only line of Shakespeare I ever understood."
A good one. You want me to give my Grand Slam line?
Sure.
I got to go with my own line. Well, Andy's line, David Lloyd's line, probably wrote it. Mommy, I'll clean up my room, Mommy. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on baseline, Sam says he's a murderer, Diane, and Diane replies, "One murderer does not a murderer make."
Yeah, that's a very good one. That's a very good line. Yeah. Yes.
When my mom was alive, we used to quote that line all the time. Every time someone we're like, "But one murderer does not a murderer."
Yes. That is a great line. Yeah.
And you already gave me your favorite line, so I don't have to ask that. Here's a little known fact. Sam called the police to report an armed robbery. He could
Yes.
not call and cancel that point because the police would still come because they would assume the robbers saying, like holding them hostage and saying, "Tell them that." So they would still
Oh,
check it out.
yes. Okay. All right. I didn't. I thought about that too, and it was, well, why? Why won't they? Yeah. Why will they still? Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you for explaining that to me.
And uh sitcoms and other things, we do what makes it work. So it doesn't matter if it's true or not, we just do what it makes to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it work? Yeah. That's always it. Yeah. Does it work?
And I have questions for you from the fans, and then I have some that I have of my own.
Okay.
Most of them asked the ones I was going to ask you, so they're in the beginning. What
All
was it
right.
like performing your awesome cameo in the final season of Cheers? And they said it was a brilliant performance, which is completely true.
Well, I loved it because you think it's going to be a whole thing. He walks in, he's loaded with explosives, and Diane's not here. Okay.
I know you're like,
Okay. I think that's one of yeah. That's the easiest cameo I've ever had to do. You
and
know, I got
actually the rest of the bar, because Rebecca's all like freaked out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's Andy."
yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that too.
What was it like? This is from the next episode you're in. What was it like doing a scene with a pre-Bart Nancy Cartwright
Pre-Nancy. Oh, you mean oh
in
my
the
God.
Halloween one?
Oh
She's your
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah, she played my girlfriend. Oh, we're going back. What was it like? It was easy. It was fun. We just had a really nice, easy. Um, it was easy to play with because sometimes you have a chemistry with somebody. I've been on shows like I did a show called. Well, she won't see this. I did a show with Doc, and the original girl who was cast to play my wife. Um, we had no chemistry, none, and it was so hard to do scenes with her. And so eventually they saw that and they replaced her, and they let me choose who of the people who auditioned who would be my wife. So that worked out in that episode so easy. We just had a really nice chemistry, and I thought she was perfect casting for Andy. Yeah, I thought she was great.
Were you surprised to be called back three more times to play Andy after Diane's perfect date?
I was delighted. I thought it was a one off, just one episode, and then my manager called me and said, "Yeah, they're going to bring you back." So I was surprised and thrilled because to get a chance to play with those guys, it was like one of the best shows ever, one of the best sitcoms ever on television, and so you're going to be part of history, to do that show. So you can, because I would say to myself, whatever else they can say about me and my career, I can say I did Cheers. And oh, the other thing that happened after doing Cheers, before I go to an audition, I'd say name, la la la. Okay, so all right, sit over there and blah blah blah, and I'd go in and they go, oh, the guy from Cheers, Andy, and that makes a big difference when you're going into an audition. Like, well, I've gotten already to first base. Now I just have to get to home plate. So using your baseball analogy, but yeah, that made a huge, really helped my career. Yeah.
Someone asked, and I love this question: have you ever dreamed that you have claws? And another person wrote, this should be the only question that and immediately, but I have more.
That's one of my favorite, maybe my favorite all time line. That's do you ever dream that you
They do it perfectly looking at your hand when you say it, too.
Yeah. Yes, that's one of my all time favorite lines. Yeah, yeah. And I don't dream of that I have a claw, by the way. No.
Were there any attempts to bring you back between seasons 4 and your great callback in season 11?
I don't know. That would be internal stuff, and that would be discussions I wouldn't be part of. Nobody called and said we're thinking of bringing you back. So no.
Yeah, I think they were wondering maybe you just weren't able to do it, so they didn't know if they tried and they couldn't get you.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. No, no. If they tried, they would have gotten me. I would have made sure that I was able to do it. Yeah, I was, I guess, a little disappointed that I didn't get to be a regular on that show because some of the people came to do. I think didn't Kelsey just come to do one episode and then they ended up keeping me
Yeah.
as a yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Quick
And
story
same
about
thing with BB North.
the first time he did I knew him before Cheers. I can't remember how we knew each other, but I bumped into him in down in Santa Monica, and he said, "Oh, he had just, I think, done his first episode of Cheers, and he'd had a pretty good year." And he said, "Oh, I'm celebrating because this is the first year I made $100,000, and I think he's done a little better since then." Like he's probably worth about 300 million now, but yeah, yeah, he did okay.
It's actually there's a in his actual sitcom Frasier,
Yes.
Nanny G comes back and there's actually a line where Nanny G says to him, to Frasier, can you imagine playing the same character for 20 years? And that's like my favorite line ever.
Yes, I probably imagine it. Yes.
And somebody wants to know what was it like playing the live action Buck in Married with Children?
Well, it's a long time getting into makeup, but again, one of my favorite lines was, which I'm just going to go out and smell a few butts. Yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. But a long time getting into makeup, though, because
Imagine.
yeah, but yeah, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed playing.
What role or show did you enjoy doing the most besides Cheers? Because you already said
Besides,
Cheers.
yeah, besides Cheers, I don't know if people are familiar with the series Doc. but I was in a medical series called Doc, and I played Dr. Derek Bear. Uh, and I was just known as Dr. Derek, which works out okay for me. But it was a character that was, it wasn't comedy, but it was humor, which I love. I actually prefer humor to comedy, and I make a difference. Comedy is where you're just flat out, just doing everything to be funny. Humor is when you are playing something for real, which turns out to be funny. It's humorous because there's it's a three-dimensional character, and Doc was a drama, but I was a funny character on that show, and that was my all-time favorite. Look it up, Doc. I think you can still find it in various places. Yeah, I think that, and now that changes. Like next week, you ask me, I might have somebody, and if you would ask me a month ago, I might have somebody else that I played, but I've done a lot of different roles, so sometimes I just forget. I've even had the experience where I'm watching a movie and go, it was a Western. I'm watching the movie and I go, I know that actor. Oh, mackerel, that's me. That actually happened to me. And I'm going, when did I shoot that? That actually happened to me once. Yeah.
Was there anything you would change about Andy?
Nothing. Why would it? No, no, I thought, no, nothing about Andy. I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah.
And then someone wrote, they saw a documentary of Godspell at the Toronto Film Festival, and they want to know why you're not in the documentary because Martin Short mentioned you by name. He said that both he and Eugene Levy had accents during the show, and you understudied for both of them. And he said that you didn't know who to go on for.
Yeah. Well,
That's a wrong question.
interesting. That conversation just came up last week with a very, very, very dear friend of mine. And she said, why aren't you in that thing? And I don't know why I'm not, why I wasn't in the documentary. I guess I never did the interview for it, or I remember doing some interview about the whole Godspell thing, and it never got included. I guess because I'm, not as well known as Marty and Eugene. But I remember once on stage doing Godspell, where I was supposed to run to one side of the stage because it was when we all end up on the fence. I don't know if you're familiar with the show, but we all
Oh yeah.
jump up onto the fence, and there's a spot. It's been choreographed, but I understudied three different people, so I went for the right blocking for the wrong character. So I run to go to the fence, and there's Marty Short on the fence where I'm supposed to go. So I had to leap over him and grab the fence from up there. But yes, it's like three-dimensional chess when you go out and you're playing one of three different characters that you've played. You have to make sure you got the right blocking. Yeah, I did do that.
After 9/11, my friend Mike Menching from when I did community theater, he directed Godspell, but he said it in New York, and he made him Jesus was a fireman, the
Ah,
character. So and they dedicated it to one of the people that died in 9/11, and the parents were there, and they got it was beautiful. I don't think I've
oh,
ever cried so hard at Godspell, and I've seen it a million times.
yeah,
Beautifully
yeah.
done.
That's a
Sat in a
great.
subway, yeah.
Yeah, when was that? When did they do that? Just
It was
after 9.
yeah, it was shortly after 9/11. I don't remember the exact year, but it was not long after.
That's an excellent idea. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that.
You already talked about your memories, so I'll skip that question. Do you still get recognized today for Andy Andy?
Rarely, very rarely. It's for more recent stuff. Occasionally, and it always surprises me. They go, "Oh, you're that actor," and I go, "Yes," and they go, "Yeah, yeah, Andy." Oh my God, you're going back. Yeah, so yeah, occasionally it's rare. It's rare, honestly. Yeah, but I remember after I did that show, I had done other shows and been in a series, and I remember going across the country once, across the states, and driving across, and I'd go someplace, and they go Andy, instead of the thing that I had on, and it's so many years ago, and you go yes, but that's a long time ago. Yeah, yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Before Cheers episode you're on, which one is your favorite and why?
My favorite, I think, would have to be Homicidal Ham because I really got to stretch out. I got to do Othello. I got to do a version of who did I just say? The actor Olivia.
Olivia.
I got to channel Olivier. You know, always been a hero of mine. So brilliant, but was brilliant, and so I'd have to say that that would be my favorite episode. I love them all. I love the first one. You know, Diane's uh, surprise date, or what's it called, blind date. But
Ryan's perfect date.
there's a wonderful line in that too. Where do you want to have dinner? Oh, I don't care, any place but Via Milano. Bad memories. I killed a waitress there as we're going out the door.
Just random line there.
Yeah, it's a nice exit line. Yeah, so yeah, but I think overall, Homicidal Ham.
Never decide which one I like better between those two, but probably Homicidal Ham I like better too.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
in the first one when Diane comes in and her hair is all sticking up though.
Yes, yeah.
You worked mainly with Shelley Long on Cheers, in three of the episodes. So did it feel weird returning in season 11 after she had already left?
Uh, I don't. I think it was seamless. I thought that Rebecca was great. I thought Kirsty was great. She was very friendly. Um, Great chemistry with her, and I remember more. Shelley. Shelley was the first Diane for me, and probably the one I think about when you say who's Diane. That's who I think about. But Kirsty was really good too. So I thought she was excellent. So yeah, but I guess if you ask me who my favorite Shelley would be the my favorite Diana would be Shelley.
And you were on a couple episodes of Newhart, so I was wondering what was it like working with Bob Newhart?
An honor, an honor. Now you talk about favorite characters. You just brought that one up when I had forgotten. I think I was thinking about the other day because I thought maybe you might ask, what's my favorite role ever, and I was going over that one. On Newhart would have been one of my favorites, and that was supposed to be one episode, I think, and then we ended up doing. I think I only did two, but that would have loved to have been that character for a long time. That was one of my favorite characters. Maybe you ask me next week. You ask me what my favorite characters. It might be that one. Yeah.
I have the Newhart series on DVD too, and I remember the first time when you were on it, I was like, because Mom loved it. She's a big Newhart fan, and I was like,
Yes.
Mom, that's Andy. She's like, his name is not really Andy. I'm like, I don't care.
It isn't. Hello, this is Andy. Who do you need to be killed? My dog just showed up.
And I can't see him. He's in the corner where I can't see.
Honey, we're not going to do this now. We're doing an interview. You go get your ball. Go get it. Go get your ball. Jesus. Anyway, yeah.
I just have a couple more.
All right.
Based on IMDb, it looks like you started acting professionally in your 20s, and I was wondering what made you want to become an actor.
First role was 18, actually. I played Linus in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. What made me become an actor? I went when I was very young. I think it was only 5 years old. And I went to see, I think it was called The Young Lions. And Marlon Brando was in it. And he played a German officer who was totally uncomfortable with the whole Nazi thing. And at the end of the war, he's coming down a hill, and they haven't actually announced the end of the war yet. And he's basically the last German killed. And he tumbles down, and then they say, it's over. And he was so good that I thought, that's what I want to do. So I decided that I wanted to be an actor. Plus, I thought, you get to, later on when I was, a little older, like 12 or 13, I still wasn't actually acting professionally. I thought, it's the only profession I know where you can sleep in late and meet girls. So, of course, I was wrong about that's the theater maybe, but I was wrong about the sleeping in late. You can meet girls, it's true, but but the sleeping in late, no. As a matter of fact, when I was on doc, we had T-shirts made up that said, sleep is for beginners. Because everybody was always tired, especially when you're doing a 1 hour, you get up there so early and all that. But yeah, I always, from the time I was a very young kid, wanted to be an actor. And it was Marlon Brando who made me want to be an actor. If I may, George C. Scott did one television show in his entire life uh, with Jack Lemmon, Inherit the Wind. And it was years ago, and I was burnt out as an actor, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I thought the only thing I really want to do, when I thought about what else I could do, I'd like to be a postman in Alaska, driving a Jeep and saying, "Hello, Miss Anderson, you can get your mail." And I thought that's what I'd like to do. That's about all. I was just completely burned out, and my agent, and I wasn't getting roles because I had no enthusiasm anymore for it. So my manager called me and said, "You have an audition. It's not a big part. It's the radio technician in Inherit the Wind, and George C. Scott's doing it, and Jack Lemmon's doing it." I said, "I'll be in that if I just say, cigarettes, Mr. Anderson. I don't care if it's one line. I'd like to be on the set, see how they work." So I was sitting, and George C. Scott was so old that they would have to walk him onto the set. He would sit. But when he does his scene at the very end and he's raging because he's lost, this little old man, and he didn't have the voice, that he had in Patton, that big, gravelly voice. And he stood up and he started to rant. And I swear he got bigger. He was bigger than George C. Scott, taller than George C. Scott. And he was magnificent. And then he just collapsed and they caught him under the camera. And I watched that and I thought, that's magic. I said, that's why I want to be an actor. That's why I want to be an actor. And it relit the flame in me. And I started landing roles again. And I've been really enthusiastic about acting ever since then. So thank you, George C. Scott, for doing that. Yeah.
And what was it like working on Dallas?
Oh, that was fun. Another favorite role. I think I've had a lot of favorite roles, frankly, but I love doing that. I loved working with her, Linda Gray. She was so easy to work with and so kind. When I first got on the set, you're a bit nervous. My God, this is Dallas. Again, that was supposed to be one episode, just one episode. And but they liked the character, they liked what I did, and so I ended up doing 15 episodes. It's a long story why I didn't continue doing it, but they never gave me a contract. So I ended up being offered a series, and I said, "Well, you guys haven't given me a contract. You're offering me a series." I took it, So anyway, yeah, I loved working with her. I thought I turned that off. Stop. Don't do that. That's my messaging machine. You can stop doing that now. Thank you. Yeah, I love doing that. And she said, we were about to do a scene, and she came to me and said, "Oh, Derek, you're so good with comedy. Any advice on how I should do this?" And it was really, I thought, she's just doing this to make me feel comfortable because she can tell I'm nervous. And I really appreciate that about it. I loved working with her. Most of my scenes were with her. A little intimidating working with Larry Hagman. But yeah, I would have loved to have been a regular on that show, but they didn't give me a contract. So I had to move on.
Yeah. My mom banned me from watching Dallas when I was a child. I mean, I was too young when it was originally on, so I saw the reruns. And JR got shot. I was so upset. And because I was too young to understand, I thought he really got shot. And Mom's like, "Okay, you can't watch the show anymore because it's just not working for you right now." So I was banned from the show.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now the ratings are down because you didn't watch it.
It's my mom's fault, not mine.
Yeah. All right.
Right. And were you a Cheers fan before and after you did the show? I know you said you were excited about getting on, so I assume you were.
Yes, I was a Cheers fan. Yes. And I couldn't believe I was going to get to audition for it. And like I said, I read it and you're not getting this role. I'm getting this role. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Because I was in the first season when it wasn't quite as popular as in the other seasons.
Oh, no,
it was like working its way up. So
yeah, the first year they really didn't have good ratings at all. And nowadays, I think they'd be gone like within 3 or 4 episodes. No, they're not getting the ratings; they're gone.
They talked about it.
Brandon Tartikoff
yeah,
he believed in the show, and he just said, "No, we're going to keep it on, get to find an audience." And God bless him, he was right. Yeah,
I tell people all the time that Tartikoff is my favorite NBC president ever.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I was like, he kept my favorite show Cheers on and my favorite childhood show, Punky Brewster, yes. He created. So to me, he's the greatest man ever.
Created Punky Brewster?
Yep. And the guy, Portnoy, and I forgot her name, that did the theme song for Cheers, also wrote the theme song for Punky Brewster.
What a great theme song. I mean, has there been a better theme song? I mean, it's just a great song by itself. If you just listen to it, it's just a lovely song, and it just sets the mood so great. Yeah, yeah.
So, is there anything you would like to share with people that you haven't said yet?
That I haven't said yet.
Or if you'd
I
like to
don't.
tell them what you're doing?
Um, well, I do have a Christmas movie coming out. You might want to watch for on Netflix. So you might want to watch that. It's with Alicia Silverstone, and I don't know if you know her, but she's an amazing woman, lovely, lovely to work with, and have a really beautiful scene with her. Yeah, that's going to be on Netflix at Christmas. So watch for that. Yeah.
What's the title?
Uh, A Merry Little Xmas. It's about a couple, they're getting divorced, but it's a Christmas movie, so you know what happens. They don't get divorced. They rekindle their love and they get back together. Yes. But it's a comedy. So and Netflix, I don't think Netflix has ever done an original Christmas movie. If they have, you'd have to tell us. I don't think so. So it's a good script, and it's going to be funny.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, thank you for coming on and letting me interview you and talking about the episode. I've really enjoyed
My,
it, and I
yeah.
appreciate it.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it. You're a very easy interviewer.
Thank you.
That makes a big difference.
I was nervous. That's the reason I randomly stumbled over words.
Well, I was nervous too.
I explained to people, because I interviewed Miss Bonnie Bartlett too, recently, and I was explaining to her, I was like, I am very starstruck, and to the point, literally, when I did theater in high school, the actors I worked with, I was starstruck around just because they were. I was like, they're actors. I could do the backstage stuff. I cannot, and I'm so fascinated.
You know why you're really lucky? You're doing something you love. You love talking to, well, what you would call celebrities. And isn't that great?
It's
And,
awesome.
yeah. And when I was nervous, and I thought, I've done a lot of these, but I think I'm always a little nervous. But, and in the end, I said, what are you going to be doing? You're just going to be saying words. Really, that's actually all you're doing. You might forget some stuff, but I didn't forget much. It's pretty impactful in my memory, the Cheers days. Such great scripts and such a great role to play. I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Have a
My
good
pleasure.
evening. Morning, sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Bye.
I realized that I forgot to do the part at the end that I always do after I finish the rewatch interview with Derek McGrath today. So I'm adding this on at the end, so it may look a little different. But I just wanted to remind you that if you enjoyed the episode, to please like, subscribe, follow, and you can join the Facebook group at Cheers, That's One Woman's Opinion. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at One Woman's Opinion. And you can always email us with questions or comments at Cheers One Woman's Opinions Podcast at gmail.com. And our next episode will be Cheers Season 2, Episode 5, Sumner Returns. And that's One Woman's Opinion. Thank you.